No conflict has only one cause. We cannot reduce the causes of the First World War to the murder of Franz Ferdinand. If cause and effect were that simple, we wouldn't need history books. But it would be equally unwise to ignore the impact of climate and the environment. They act as an aggravating force by compounding other risks. Climate fragility needs to be a central foreign policy priority when global climate change could widen global inequality and be a catalyst for political change. That is what the reports tell us. That's why we have to translate it in some type of operational action.
I would argue that the Arctic should be left alone. We should leave that oil in the ground. Yeah. We shouldn't have cruise ships up there. It should be left alone.
Most of the current migration problem that you have here in Europe, they're not going to Iran and to Russia. They're coming to the West, where you've got air conditioning, where you've got heat in the room, where people are wearing Versace clothes, because that's what human nature does.
We must speak about taking responsibility. If you think migration is a problem now, 1.5, or we are coming to live by it.
There's a lot we don't know yet. We're still very much at the learning stage, but it seems very, very clear indeed that increasingly, whilst climate change doesn't actually cause the conflict, it enables and multiplies the probability that that conflict would take place.
When you start looking at means of groundwater cooperation between the two countries, you start talking about things such as farmer livelihoods, such as better irrigation practices, better water management practices. You start talking about climate change. And these are all greenfield policy areas that India and Pakistan don't speak about when they talk about water.
If we can't get this right by pricing ecosystem use, embedded in the way we price our products, we're never going to get this right.
I have a sense that this is one of those unique conferences which will not stay within the confines of this hall. There's so many conversations that have happened that this will already spill over.
This reality of climate change, the link between climate change and security, has been very obvious to very many people, but it took some time to get to the conference halls. It's obvious that the two are related. More analysis on how they are related and what we can do to mitigate and adapt is needed, but we also need to talk about and what can we do? What does this ask from us?
This conference will help build the bridge between the intellectual and the practical through the action-oriented strategies that we have developed here. The success of this first Planetary Security Conference lies in our hands. The work, the real work, begins now. We cannot wait until we convene again next year. We must use the new network that we have established and the new momentum that we have generated together to continue to share knowledge and insights on the nexus between climate change and security, and, most importantly, to translate insights into policy.
I think it's honest to say that we achieved for this very first conference on planetary security what we aimed for. We tried to create a community, first of all, of experts from all kinds of different fields that can talk to each other on these issues. And on top of that, we managed to connect the experts on the impact of climate change, on security and on fragility and resilience. We managed to connect these people to the ones that actually can make a difference. So therefore we had here a kind of 50-50 mix between experts and policymakers.
The only thing we have is Earth. A beautiful planet, fantastic colors. I love to look at it, but it also makes me scared because it's growing and growing and growing. 200,000 people per day, and they all want to live like we. We have to be careful. Don't let the sun go down on this planet. It's the only planet we have. And we are all astronauts on the spaceship Earth. And let's be careful with it.